Number 7 says find the measure of each side of the right triangle. As you can see in the diagram, we have a right triangle. One angle is given to be 37 degrees. One side length is 250 centimeters. We need to find the value of A and C. We cannot use Pythagorean theorem because we only have one side of the triangle given. So in this case, you're going to be using your trig functions to help you find the missing sides. Now you can only work with one side at a time. So let's say if I wanted to find, A first. How is A related to the 37-degree angle? Okay, A is opposite that angle. And we have this side that's given. How is it related to 37 degrees? It's the adjacent side. So which trig function deals with opposite and adjacent? Okay, that would be tangent. So I could say, by using my definition of the tangent of an angle, I could say that the tangent of 37 degrees would equal the opposite side, which is A, over the adjacent side, which is 250. Okay, then that gives me an equation that I want to solve for A. The way that I look at it is kind of like cross multiplying. This is understood to be over 1. I can cross multiply, which would give me 1 times A equals 250 times the tangent of 37 degrees. Now, I usually always write the number in front because you wouldn't want to multiply it by the 37, okay? So it's 250 times the tangent of 37. You'll go to your calculator, make sure your calculator is in the correct mode, that it's in degree mode, because it could have been in radians from the previous chapter. And so again, just depending on your calculator that you have, I would type in 37 tangent, keep it in the calculator, and then times 250. And so I get 188.3885. We're going to keep this to 2 decimal places. It will tell you on the homework how many decimal places they want you to keep. 188.39 centimeters. Okay, so that gives you the length of A. At this point, I could do the Pythagorean theorem because now I have 2 sides of the right triangle. I could do the Pythagorean theorem to find the third side, or we can continue using the trig functions, which is what I'm going to do. Okay, so if I wanted to find the length of C, C is the hypotenuse, and I'm going to stick with using the side that's given. So we know that's adjacent and hypotenuse. So which trig function could I use? Adjacent over hypotenuse would be cosine. So I could say the cosine of 37 degrees is equal to the adjacent side, which is 250, over the hypotenuse, which is C. Okay, so here you can tell my variable's in a different location. It's in the denominator, but I can still cross multiply. C times the cosine of 37 degrees equals 250. Then how would I find C? I would have to divide by the cosine of 37. So I would have C equals 250 divided by the cosine of 37 degrees. And again, it's just going to really depend on your calculator as to how you need to type this in. You would have to use parentheses probably if you type in 250 divided by, and then open your parentheses, cosine of 37, close your parentheses, and then hit equal, and I get 313.03. So that would be the length of C. You could check these if you wanted to by using the Pythagorean theorem to see if you get, the answers to work out correctly. So there's not just one certain way to do these, but you do kind of have to look at what's given in the problem and use that to help you figure out which trig function to use. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at B. Another right triangle. if I want to find the length of C, then I would have the opposite side trying to find the hypotenuse. So opposite and hypotenuse would be sine. So I could say the sine of 23 degrees equals 16 over C. And I know if I'm going to have this C in the denominator, it would be C times the sine of 23 degrees equals 16. Divide by the sine of 23 degrees. So C would equal 16 divided by the sine of 23 degrees. Go to my calculator. And I get 40.95, and that's on meters. So that will give you the length of C. Okay, then if I wanted to find B, that's adjacent to my 23 degree angle. So I'm going to stick with the side that's given. Opposite and adjacent would be tangent. So I could write an equation that the tangent of 23 degrees equals 16 over B. So again, I would have B times the tangent of 23 degrees equals 16. Divide by the tangent of 23 degrees. So B equals 16 divided by the tangent of 23 degrees. And when I go to my calculator to type that in, I get 37.69 meters.